Hello, hello. Ah. What's up? I'm Azrin. Hope you're having a good day. We are continuing Phoenix Wright. Episode 4, Farewell, My Turnabout. Did the investigation, and now we're on to the trial. We only have 1 day, apparently. Apparently. I don't know if that's going to be true, but we only have, this is it, supposedly. So, yeah. We did our investigation, and there was, what's it called? Endguard and what's it called? Is our defendant. And we've been told by a mysterious kidnapper to make sure he's not found not guilty. I don't know if he did it though or not. His manager is highly suspicious currently. I think there is some clues we are missing, but I'm gonna get into it. 22nd, right before Adrian did it. See, that's what we're suspecting. I have a feeling it's gonna be we're gonna out our kidnapper probably, but I don't know. Do we have enough? Evidence points to Adrian. So Celeste, yeah. And that is motive, but I don't know if that's correct. If I remember correctly, there was something weird. But anyway, Adrian did it. That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. Or today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. Yep. A mountain of evidence. I'm certain there's something out there. Someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. What if he did it? I don't think. Doesn't make sense that he's actually the one that did it. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? Can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Oh, Mia. Must get a complete acquittal today. I know. This is interesting because it's different from previous cases, but I'm not sure. Can't focus on my situation right now, or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. I think it's meant to trip him up. Let's get going. Oh? The killer. This is right. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Aye, she's unharmed, right? Well, I checked on her earlier this morning. She seemed a bit, how shall I say, tired. Wow. Don't worry. People don't die that easily. Besides, I think what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. I say, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present. We'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Huh. Sent me a present. Mr. Lawyer dude. Who was that? No one. Has nothing to do with you, so forget it. You heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? I was lying. That's right. I remember what it was. Thank you. He lied about he su- he specifically said he didn't kill anybody or Juan Corrida. But but in the way he was phrasing it doesn't mean he couldn't have had an accomplice or somebody else killed him. And he was that and he just foreshadowed it again. So we'll find out. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Engard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? Defense is ready, Your Honor. Francisca or Edgeworth? I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor? Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. You must tell me something. Please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has. This morning. That's the present? You're fucking kidding me, bro. Ah, fuck, okay. Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. What? Shot? Somehow. I think this is the present the man was talking about. Oh, fuck, dude. What is wrong with this guy? Alright. His present. How do we get this, dude? How do we get D-Killer? I want D-Killer. Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have the answer. She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Whew. Whoa. You're... I thought he'd show up. Your Honor. Due to the circumstances, Miss Francisca Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. Ah, he's back! Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing a surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Engard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right? I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. He's reborn. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. We have to make him guilty, don't we? Hunting for the truth is what matters over everything. Is probably what this is gonna be. Instead of being having a perfect case, it's gonna be hitting the truth, even if it means losing, quote unquote. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Witness, your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. For now. He got fired, too. After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn my badge, sir. Aw, Detective Gumshoe. Prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Now, let's have your testimony. He slams the desk just like us, man. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Ready, Phoenix. This is gonna be one very rough fight. Yep. Would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer. You finally found Edgeworth. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes award ceremony. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the case of the cause of his death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. First, we thought there was some suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. I don't even know where the guitar is, dude. Oh, fuck. There's so much unanswered, currently. The award ceremony? The victim was alone in his room? Yes, sir. Both the victim and defendant were alone in their room, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Poor Gumshoe. I'm gonna press him, though. After the Hero of Heroes award ceremony, sir. Press. Can you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. Ceremony started at 6 p.m., ended around 8 p.m., and then there was a short break. Special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. We even have an autopsy report? That's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Please continue with your testimony. Juan Corrida found dead in his hotel room. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yep. Who's this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt Engar's manager. She's a really pretty lady, sir. Aww. So she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her... Damn, alright. With her presence. The post-ceremony show was about to start. She went to Mr. Engar. After visiting his room, she next went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. Why would you do that? Found the victim's body. Oh, he has no manager, I guess. That kind of makes sense then. She is suspicious. Looking into the cause of death, we believed he was definitely murdered. Okay. Cause of death. Isn't that because Mr. Corrida was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so... that is true, actually. That is very true. I didn't even think about it. Oh. That wouldn't kill you. He was just stabbed. A wound right there wouldn't kill you. Unless you were, like, horribly unlucky. Ooh, is this a he's not dead scenario? Or, nah. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now, a real pro's attention would be drawn here, to this bandana. He was choked. Wrapped tightly around his neck. Man. See, you miss details sometimes. Fuck. An altercation between Andrews then? Who choked him? A woman. I mean, statistically, a woman choking him out is unlikely, but it could happen. Something wrapped tightly around his neck, sir. Ah, yes, I see. His banana scented banana. His banana scented bandana. And what about the knife? Seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. Okay. Explains lack of blood loss. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. 15. Strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. Okay. I think this knife stabbing was unnecessary. Thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. Okay. Why did he think that? Because it was empty, pal. Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. Ba-da-ba-da. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh? And how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? We thought of that too, but the only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. Only the victims, huh? I see. Ah, so much for my theory then. Some water, but only on top of the lid. Bears Kurita's fingerprints. Somebody definitely came in after. Which I think is Adrian. She might have been the one that stole the case too. Or the guitar. And oh. I don't get it. Cartes. How can you be so sure? Has nothing to do with the case. The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? Bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Kurita, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. Huh. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. That's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all. Debatable. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt Engard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edward's back in full swing. Hell yeah. Very well. Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Why arrest Engard? We're huge rivals with each other. Okay. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. I don't think they liked each other. For evidence, there's a Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off of the ninja costume and found in Mr. Engard's Hakama. Defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. Defendant bought the knife for the crimes. That is wrong. Which makes this a premeditated murder. Completely wrong. That's a hotel knife. Fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. Sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clear. Pretty clearly. Huh, okay. And the Gatewater is engraved, yep. And there's this button that was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And is this button also covered in blood? Yep. And we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. Okay. Yep. It's covered in Corrida's blood, found in Edgar's Hakama. Okay. All this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? I'll find a hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. He's trying to help you. Come on. I'm oppressive. But in terms of popularity, Mr. Engard won, did he not? Yes. You know what's ironic, pal? Juan Corrida was always one step behind Mr. Engard in everything. This year, it seemed like he finally caught up, ready for the big, final showdown. But Mr. Corrida lost in the Grand Prix in the end. It is too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing. Yep. Just thought the guy was in his... The other guy was in his way. Okay. Out of enough. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. Engard was beating Mr. Corrida in popularity polls. Yeah, well, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. Yes, I quite agree. Well, detective, it's not, well, I guess if you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant would have had no motive. Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. No way, not you too, Mr. Hedgeworth. Sir, that's... Look forward to your pension negotiations. No! Not the salary, and the pension. Now, detective, let's continue with the testimony. Not my poor pension, too. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. We can talk about my pension later, sir. Hello? Anyone? Let me reread that, because I kind of didn't pay attention. Was more popular. Quite agree. Well, detective, it's not, well... I had no motive. Okay. My question just gets dismissed. Got it. As for evidence, the Jammin' Ninja's button. You have any proof that button belonged to the victim? Huh? What do you mean, pal? His blood was on it. I'm asking you if you had any evidence to back up your claims that this button was ripped off the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Can you tell just by looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it. Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward. Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir. Alright, I knew it had to be the... Wait, what? Thread. A button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match. And that's it. They're a perfect match, pal. That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat. And found in his Hakama. Okay. When was the button found? Pretty soon after the body was found. We rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Corrida. And then we did a search on them all. That's when we found the button. Hmm. Who plants that, though? Adrian. It's Adrian. Adrian plants it. Why does she do that, though? Aim dependent on the D killer? It's almost immediately after the murder. The police didn't have the free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. What is he trying to say about me here? Uh-huh. I'm a person. How were the fingerprints removed? Huh? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand? Is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that. Can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, right? Defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There's no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. Interesting. Defendant is the owner of this knife, then? Uh-huh. This is our contradiction. There's no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he bought the knife. Sorry, pal. This isn't some pocket. It doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around with either. Ugh. Isn't that good? Prove it was a premeditated murder. We're done. Something very interesting about what the text said now. Think carefully before it's too late. Uh-huh. Find the enemy's weakness. So let's find the weakness in this testimony. Shall we begin? I know what it is. Come on, I'm not that clueless. The knife. Objection! Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand? That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Huh? It has Gatewater seal set into the handle. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before. It's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. Just a straight uh-oh. The murder weapon was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Yes. That is very true. This is very big. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There's one currently on the police force that is... There's no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough not to realize that. He realized he ain't on the police force. Oh, man. Question is... Where did this knife come from? Why, that's obvious. Came from the victim, Mr. Kurita's room. Huh. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what was on top of the table. Boom. There is a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt Engard. There it is. Especially what was on top of his table. There's something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife? Investigated the leftover dishes full of fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Engarde's knife was missing. Mr. Engarde had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Maybe I'm a little too British with him, but I'm liking it. Amazing. Mr. Edgeworth, absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. Seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. One of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. Get your facts straight. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. This is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of time, Your Honor. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown in the court. Evidence not yet shown. It means evidence that the court hasn't seen. In other words, new evidence. See, he's helping us. Edgeworth is helping us, bro. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Judge is favoring the prosecution right now. Means there was something wrong here. That gavel of his will be ringing out the sound of our defeat. It was a little early, but this is important. Mr. Wright, you have something important and necessary to present to this court. Actually, I do. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see. So one more time, I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I'm giving you one chance, and only one. What the judge is saying, right, is don't try to pull one of your usual bluffs here. I mean, if I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. Oh shit, it's all over. I now present one, and only one, piece of evidence. This is the important evidence that you must show the court. Ooh. The wine glass? It needs to be evidence, not a person. So, that being the case... Guard Corrida. No. It might be the wine glass. It's not been presented. This has been presented. This is irrelevant currently. That's been presented. The guitar case has been mentioned. She's not even involved yet. Unless we have proof of her entering. I think it's got to be the wine glass. Take that. This is a wine glass, is it not? Hey, we got it. Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. Called it. The only thing that he had not fallen over along with everything else, is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further current consideration. Well, what do you have to say? Ah, well, yes. It is a little peculiar. Isn't it? I thought it was. Stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth? What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion. Don't need my opinion. Because there is no special meaning to the glass. What? Heh. It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. Does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. There's no way. Should trust my instinct and point with certainty. Make sure to point. This might just fall for it if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. Ooh, that's different. That doesn't usually happen. Turning the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Do you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it has been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints. There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one. Well, whose were they? They were not the victims, nor the defendants. Rather, they were of one Adrian Andrews. What? Uh-huh. There's Andrew's fingerprints, huh? That is why I said that the person who has discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? Can't believe I fell into another trap. He's helping us. Come on, think about it, right? Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Kurita. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. Ink is possibly a stretch. You just said makes a lot of sense. I don't if you're stunned enough, I think you wouldn't be thinking of putting the glass down carefully. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Now do you see, right? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover. Wait a sec, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? I mean, we had no rebuttal. Wendy, Oldbag. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Right. Gotcha. Wonder what happened to that calm composure I had earlier. Oh, edgy boy. I've been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. Ooh. Saw the report with their testimony, but who knew that under that helmet it was that wicked witch of the witness stand? Ah, I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. Today I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps. Yes, ma'am. No. Please, by all means, interrupt her. Please. Anyway, witness, your testimony, please. It's true what they say. The youth are hotheads nowadays, now that I mind at all edgy. Now then, what should I start with? The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is that correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job, being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle. You mean you were a fan of the victim? Look, everyone is crazy over that end guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Corrido. Those two are the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed on the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. Aw. Right? After the ceremony, I went to pace around the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. And that's when somebody showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. A man? It was Engard. Matt Engard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. Uh-huh. Was it the Nickel Samurai or Juan? Exactly. So Mr. Engard came out from the victim's room. See, it has to be him. He's the murderer. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. What you witnessed. Right. I'm a presser. This old bag. What was your post that night? The lobby. I was supposed to help set up on the stage for that trifling show, but I refused to help, I'll have you know. It was for that lead Leadhead Samurai show. I even took out a few of the nails. It was a good thing the show didn't go on. Besides, that manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard as it is without me. The manager was in the lobby? So I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little. It's when you went to hang out around the victim's room. I think that was a slip of the tongue. Let me replay that. 1 second. Yep. Manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard at it without me. In the lobby. She has an alibi too. Uh-huh. Okay. Interesting finding out, you know. Something you were interested in? And what is that? It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. And Edgy Poo, of course. Mr. Edgewood, what is this thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip. But should it prove relevant, we can always have it appended to our testimony later. It's like we shouldn't force it right now. Did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time? Made sure to keep a good eye out. Oh? Then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Kurita's room? I have no idea. I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am. Yes, well, that would explain why your age was not included in the report. In any case, the witness that saw someone, correct? Uh-huh. Explain. We need an explanation on this. Who in the world was that? I'm not allowed to say. This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room, it was... he who was... Yes, he was. I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud. What I wouldn't give to have Franziska whip right now. We are lacking in some whippage. Well, I guess I can tell you, since he was such a bad boy anyway. It was Engard, Matt Engard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. Are you sure? Saw my client. Are you sure about that? Yes, he... Really? Annoying brat. When I say something, I say it. I saw that person. When I say I saw someone, I saw that person. Why do I get a sense of deja vu? I should delve a bit further. Ooh. Person's face? I mean, he's wearing the what's it called? Person's face. More detail. Soft, gentle look in his eyes and his effeminate lips. His right eye covered by his silky hair, his sparkling, shining teeth. Uh-huh. That is actually him. Okay. I don't care how he looks in this week's issue. Please stay with what you saw that night. What? Engar says the same no matter where it is, you know, you whippersnapper. Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? It was not important. You've wasted 3 minutes of this woman's youth. That's more valuable than gold to me. Why do I suddenly feel old in present of her childishness? Uh-huh. That's how the human mind is. It also has the tendency to jump off topic. She strayed onto a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? That's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? That's because you're not the one who has to question her. Uh-huh. Press this again. You saw my client. In the person's clothes? Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are. Really, as if something like that matters. But it does. How was it again? Oh yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing. That racing jack. Hey. Ooh, there it is. Ah, he was wearing that to the detention center too. But that thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Man. Alright. So, Mr. Wright, was that testimony now relevant? It was very important. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Objection! Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important. Don't you see it, Edgewood? Your Honor, I request that the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright. Witness, please. Ah, well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason. If I must. He was wearing his flashy racing jacket. Honestly, it's all just for show. Be sure the vendor was wearing a racing jacket. What do you think? It's not like I've seen him in anything other than that horrible thing. I'm sure he was wearing it. Wait. Okay, what do we present? Because obviously it's his. He should be in the Nickel Samurai outfit. Engar's Hakama. Or it's either the button or the ninja suit. I'm gonna go with the button. Miss Old Bag. What? Don't say my name for no reason. You know what this is? Ah, it's button number 2 on the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance. Aw. Give it here, give it here. If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this. Wow. She really is a diehard fan to want a button covered in blood. I could see it. There's people out there. Button was discovered on Mr. Engar's body during the full body search. See? See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal Engar. He was caught up in the pleats of his Nickel Samurai Hakama pants. See? See? And Engar is a Nickel Samurai. Witness. Now it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination. But just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt Engar, was wearing his usual racing jacket? I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest and instead of looking ridiculous out, this document is hideous, right? I've got a tape recorder stuck to my chest and it's heavy, so heavy I wish we could stuck these ages ago, dream alive. Understand now, take a look in the mirror and clothes are about as interesting as document on curling that should edgy poo. Now hold your tongue still there for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Engar, the man. The Nichols, but Mr. Engar, the Nickel Samurai. But when you think about it, they're really one and the same, anyway. Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about. Edgy poo, do you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering. Say it's important to agree with me for a change. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify. Alright, if you insist. Uh-huh. Who I saw. Engar, yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai, that's right, it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. Oh. Knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy, thinking such weird things. But the possibility does exist. Ah, youngins, today, I told you, there is no way it was anyone else. How do you know that? Because I said so, and what I say is true. At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Okay. I think we need to get her to slip up. Now I remember. You please get on with your So chose that take with an elder. My youthfulness isn't what it used to be. You should forgive me for everything. If you keep on barking at me like that, I'll singing at the top of my lungs. What? Oh, a striking figure by the sea, standing all alone. He's the Nickel Samurai. It's actually singing. Someone help my poor you. Mr. Edgeworth, please, can you please do something about this racket? Witness? I'll give you a piece of gum later, if you'll be good and stick to the facts. Okay. You promise, right? He's gonna give him gum shoe. Right. I'll be sending the bill for the chewing gum to your office at a later date. Remember to send you a thank you note later too, Edgeworth, old chum. Saw the Nickel Samurai. Okay. Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not? Not too long ago. Then let me ask you this. When you were itty-bitty, what was your grand dream, huh? When did you want to be, when you grew up, whippersnapper? My dream, huh? Well, I, wanted to be a Judge Wagner, hero of the public's court. So what? See? And look at where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you? Well, what I saw earlier. Who puts any weight into things like that? And the now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past. I went to court theatrics over testimony. All that matters is that man was inside that costume. Isn't that enough? Uh-huh. You get an achievement for that one, okay. Convenient for him to wear his costume in the And why would that be? That way, no one can see his face, of course. But there's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you would think the costume would make him stand out all the more. You are such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I said. That way you're always doing to me. I got it. Maybe it was more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume. Post-ceremony show. Is there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show? Hell, at least all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing. That included the Jamming Ninja. Of course, it included him. What's the blood on his? That's why when End God came out of Dear Juan's room, I didn't give it a second thought. I see. Well, anyway. Let me ask you one last time. The person saw, it really was the Nickel Samurai? As showy as ever. Haven't I been saying that from the very beginning? Can I throw in the towel yet? What the contradiction means for us. I have to figure out what you're talking about first, but okay. It should be that we were getting at before. Suit. Angle with a scarf, then stab with a knife. Post-ceremony show after the crime. Must have the worn. It could have been anybody though. Where's the proof in this though? Now I remember. There's a Nickel Samurai that I saw. His costume during the murder. That post-ceremony show right after the crime. Could be the 9, I would assume. Now the button. This is proof of what's it called? Convenient for him to wear the costume during the murder. So he must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. I don't know if that's true. That post-ceremony stage show, right after the crime, he was stabbing. I don't know how to say it, though. I mean, it could have been somebody else. This? I don't think this is right. Bam. Contradicts this evidence. Yeah, I don't know. How do we say it, though? Let me save, I guess. How do you say it? How do you say it? Inconvenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. Wait. Post-ceremony stage show. Uh-huh. I think it's gotta be the button. But that isn't right, apparently. I don't know the answer to this exactly. Must have won the... when he was stabbing poor Juan. Could be this photo, too. Yeah, I don't know how to say it is the problem. This would have been convenient for him to wear his costume. How do you say it would have been somebody else? Uh-huh. Oh. Fuck. I'll have to penalize you, Mr. Wright. Convenient. Just don't know how to say it. I know what I want to say. I don't know how to say it, though. Maybe it's this? No. How do you say this thing that I need to say? Convenient to wear the murder. You had to go to that post-ceremony show right after the crime, you know. Must have worn it when he was stabbing or Juan. Which would mean the fingerprints? There it is. Okay. Thought it could have been that, but like, there we go. Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. Thought it could have been this, but it could have... Oh, whatever. Because the Nickel Samurai has gloves. I'm assuming... It's not my intention at all. Oh, and a fucking... What's it called? An arm. Mechanical arm. So gloves at least. But... Nope. Oh, you know what? That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Okay. Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case? You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Is that what you're driving at? And that is exactly what I'm driving at. What are we driving at? And whose car are we driving? Mr. Engard was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder. Then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints on this knife right off. Yep. Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he? Probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on in the murder weapon? There's no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as a Nickel Samurai. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talked with the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took his gloves off. But the murder still did take place. It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I have heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory? Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Up to this point, are there any problems? There is a problem. Bam! This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Engard was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. It's the knife. This knife this was used by Mr. Engard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, then he bought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory is flawed from the supposition. One more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be over it like bees on a hive. Yep. That brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us. Order, I say. Order in the court. Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? To frame Matt Engard. To frame. Objection. Aren't you focusing on the interpretation just a little too hard on this one? But we just established that the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume. And if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Witness! Looks like I've made your life a teeny bit more difficult, Jipu? Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai? Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but you're saying mixed up Mr. Engard with the Nickel Samurai, his character on TV? But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in the front of the door because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure. Or the Nickel Samurai. Who were you waiting around for then? That's top secret to anyone outside of security. I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. Juan Carita. Am I correct, witness? Ha ha ha. The way you think, you're a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur? Me? What am I, amateur? So Old Bag was waiting around in front of the victim's room. Doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Carita. The Old Bag was waiting around for that person. It's who I think Mia's hinting at. It's certainly possible. Adrian Andrews. What? Seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor. This is, I see. The judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called that. And this manager, with the initials AA, are you saying it's Adrian Andrews? Without a doubt, the witness thought so as well. Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then. Witness, what in the world are you? Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling. I got some information, some very secret information about a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course. But for what? Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and all. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how would you like to proceed from here? I really don't want to do this. However, I cannot simply let this point slide. I see. Very well then. Witness, please testify about this secret information. Get ready. This is going to take the wind out of you youngins. Sure, we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Secret information. Okay. That Engard is one evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scam. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret. Got that? Nobody else but you and me know yet. His manager. What a distasteful topic for this court. Nobody's above gossip. And isn't that a saying? The truth is never pleasant. Never heard that one before. Yeah, it's Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person? We have looked into this matter and found that the truth the article proposes is, in fact, baseless gossip. But should this be true, this proves that the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim. So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Careful, the old bag seems rather excited right now. That's right, Engard is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth. As the old saying goes, you gotta burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone. Oh, I want to press her. Evil man. How do you explain that? Can't say something like that without proof. That's just slander. But it's true. That woman is getting intimate with poor Juan. Look, it says so right here, doesn't it? Manager to the stars, Miss A.A. The name of that magazine came... The name of the magazine this came from is Gossip. What? Are you saying this gossip is all just a pack of lies? What do you know? I suppose next you'll swear to me that the news is 100% true. Honestly, Sonny, you can't discriminate between the news and gossip. Yes, discrimination is bad, Mr. Wright. Discriminate? Why did I do anything like that? Engard will never get me to say touche. Or one. Scandal, what do you mean by that? You're a dim-witted one, aren't you? I can't believe you don't know what a scandal is. Honestly, what are they teaching kids in middle school these days? No, I wasn't asking what the word scandal means. Even I know that much. Well, that Engard thought he could own a monopoly on popularity. To do that, he sent his own manager to get close. I don't have any proof that Mr. Engard did such a thing. You must be suffering from the shock of hearing the truth. And now, since you're in so much shock, you can't even do anything right. You're right, I can't do anything, but boy do I wish I could do something about you. Alright then, Sonny, show me what you got. Show me proof that Engard didn't bear any ill will towards Juan. Engard. I don't think so. Any ill will towards Juan. Rivals. I don't have anything to offer. See, just as I thought. And you were lecturing me about saying things without proof. Just giving me a free pass to say whatever I want whenever I want. Silly boy. Me and my big mouth. It's the way the cookie crumbles for you, anyway. Not condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. What do you mean by I took action? Like I already told you. I was lying in wait close to the crime scene. Once that slimy woman came out... She also came around. I was going to capture her and teach her a good lesson. Putting something you youngins need. You were going to teach her a good lesson? I was going to make her eat the damaging beams of my ray gun. No, stop! It was too bad that woman didn't come through the door that night. Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. Secret information that no one else knows yet. That's true. Then how did you know the secret information? Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's a secret. Even if you drill a hole into my brain, I'll never find out. Edgy Poo, what are you doing? Help me. What do I have to do with this? Just do this for me. You'll get your reward. I don't want your reward. But you don't leave me much of a choice. Objection! The witness could have gotten her information from anywhere. It's even possible that it was spontaneously made up inside the witness's head. He lectures me on reckless blabbering. It's quite a waste of time to focus on this line of questioning. Let's ignore it either. I don't think I heard anything really out of ordinary. Okay. Oh, press her again. This is Lotta, I believe. Secret information. Secret information. Let's see. Okay, 1 second. Boom. Okay. Present evidence. No one else is supposed to know the secret information, correct? If that's true, then why did you know it, Miss Oldbag? Why are you looking at me like that? Stop it. Witness? This is how you came to acquire your secret information, isn't it? A lot of heart. Oh. And gossip. Objection sustained. My bad. Okie dokie, see, nothing can get me now. Nothing but set me back a few minutes of my life. I guess it means it needs insert camera, probably. Oh, press. Some evidence. This is how you came to acquire your secret information. The investigative photographer Lotta Hart. This is what I was trying to get at, and I just said the wrong thing. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. She reported such a thing. On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. What? What? Outrageous ideas, you say? No. I said impressions. Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless? Ah, that's it. That's the note. Ah, no. You see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy. Then, you are the one who took Miss Hart's note? I'm a huge fan of wands, that's why. That infamous puffy hair whippersnapper. She's working with that evil Endguard, she said so herself. Endguard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Edgy poo. Believe me, don't you? Oh. Okay. I was only trying to get out of the help out like the angel I am. It's only one piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come up with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. Damn. Damn. Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook this just this once. She really looks like she's really sorry. Pile on more pressure. Find some way to inflict deafening blow to the prosecution. Is this correct? Still. Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terrible, lonely trash can, that's all. You are lying, damn it, and I can prove it. Putting my credibility under scrutiny again? Miss Oldbag. I don't believe that note is the only thing you stole that night. Yep. Her camera. Miss Oldbag, that note was on with the camera inside its case, wasn't it? A camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, my sweetie, $1,600 camera disappeared on me. Well, why? Witness. What is it, Gramps? You have the note, then it is only logical that you have the camera, too. Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for? That's... what? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know. I still eat meals like you. I fall in love and borrow things from people. I think your definition of borrow is a little off. I saw that woman's business card, and that's when I noticed it said, Slime Bag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of picture she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things. Ew. Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry. We must examine them at once. Oh, baby. This is the important part. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you have to say? There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. Please present it to the court. This is the Nickel Samurai. Oh, see, I told you. That's the guy I saw. Uh-huh. His pants. His arm. His hair is disheveled. Oh wait, no. Never mind. Wait. Does he have that? The side bangs. Oh. I don't see side bangs. It could be a thing. I don't know though. And it looks pretty much right though. Uh-huh. What else would be important? That? What is that? What is that? Something falling out of their pocket? Also, they're not... Their feet are hidden, which means they aren't fully... They aren't tall enough to stand in the suit completely. Which means that somebody else in the suit. Yep. This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. Huh. What does this all mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Engard clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that is the case, then this Nickel Samurai is the defendant. How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright. The court will consider them before we close. See, he stands proudly even at a squat. Or a battle-ready position. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client? If I raise an objection here and blow it, then I would put Maya's life in jeopardy. One road out of this mess. There is something strange with it. There's two things strange with it, though. Okay, no. That's good to be part of the gifts. Okay. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right? Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree that there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright? Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. You really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo? Then you should only need one chance, correct? Well, I had to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. It's all out of focus. Why not? Why can't you take a good shot, especially when it counts? Now then, let's hear your objection. Her feet. Take that. Boom. I'd like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here. Are you pointing at his ankles? If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And what does that mean? Costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. Edgard. What is the meaning of this? Objection. I wonder if you would care to elaborate, with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. See? I said it, even at like a slight squat. Around the bottom of the Hakama, his feet are clearly present. See his socks? Exactly. However, in this photo, Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his Hakama up just to walk. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned it around for myself this time. It's curious, huh? What is it? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. And that's true. He's just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? Is that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all? I haven't damaged his case at all. Where does that leave us? Is the person in this photo, if the person in this photo is not Matt Edgard, and that everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless? Yep. I figured it would come to this. What? Right. I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt Edgard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. Should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Because he's helping us. The person. I mean, it could be none other. Adrian Andrews. Adrian Andrews. If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it is none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short. And she can freely move in and out of Mr. Edgard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Edgard that night. How does all that add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Edgard's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as a murder weapon? Why don't you just say what it is you want to say, right? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Ah, it is gonna be another day. Order, order! Looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edward. Yes, Your Honor. This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. Verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Alright, this is it. It's kind of bad for us. What do you mean? Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as witness. The trial will go on for another day. What? If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya. Yeah. Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow. I don't know, dude. I'm gonna say raise an objection, but... Objection! Hey. I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development. Tisk. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. What do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix would slave his way to subpoena ing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man. I knew that there was no way to look Miss Adrian Andrews. Like, this battle is far from over. Exactly. Very well. We'll call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. Court will now take a 10-minute recess. Alright. That's our halfway point. Straight into it. Miss Andrews. Still think there's something left unsaid. He didn't kill, but he knew about it. Maya also escaped. Ooh. Almost certain Maya also escaped. Which may mean it really was Matt Engard. He used Adrian to do it because she's dependent like that. Okay. I think this is our first quote-unquote loss. Dude, I can't believe that, Adrian. No way. Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to that knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony, during the break, huh? Took a nap? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your Hakama. She was the one that came to wake me up. Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? She is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Corrida. But why? I thought she was buzzed with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial is over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Give me a verdict that's refreshing like a string breeze. Okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude. Phoenix? You You think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note? Mm-hmm. I think it's dependency on Enguard. Truthfully. We'll find out though. Miss Andrews depends on Miss Impacts as her strength, or reason to live. That and Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. Sounds like she left a suicide note and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Kurita, the victim of this murder. That's why I think Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Kurita, all to get the suicide note back. Sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me. Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impacts. Edgeworth? Yeah. Looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down out there. No, Edgeworth is gunning for the truth. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Kurita's room. Bum, bum. What is your occupation? The manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Engard. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yeah. What is it? I'm sure that everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. Sure, I was in the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. Oh no, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossip Plan. Even... You do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation with the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Kurita. Ooh, gossip, gossip. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between me and Juan myself. Between Juan and myself. So it was a fry and bait matter, or was that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. I think there's someone who'd beg to differ. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews? Very well. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. Aha. 2-2. That aloof look. Found the body. This card is going to be vitally important later on, I can tell. It's going to be related to Maya when she shows up. It's time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. And I saw what is naturally the exact same scene as in the crime photo. Felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. What? What? That makes no sense. You poured and then set down a glass of juice. Yes, sadly I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of the crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one. That is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. With some pressing. Thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expected. Is the instant this trial is over. Understand? You're telling me to press her, right? Because I'm a presser. Mm-hmm. I went to get Matt. What was Mr. Engar doing at the time? He was taking a nap. Hmm. He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. Did say he was taking a nap, okay. And I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? What are you? Right. I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with the subject, then I'll make one for you. I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Engar's knife from his room? No. Subject, verb, object, right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. For that, I went to one. And why did you do that? As a friendly gesture. One was to make an appearance with the other heroes. The show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Press further. Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon. What are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim? Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at that time. Can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room? There was this dead body. I was in shock. You were in shock. What? Was I not supposed to be? She's a very calculating person. Despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Kurita. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock, right? You can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. I don't know what her beauty has to do with... I don't think beauty has to do with anything with being shocked or not. Thank you. I see. Uh-huh. Exact same? Exact same as the photo. You put your glass. In the guitar case, I was like this too. Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then, what did you do next, witness? Felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Juice. Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There's no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. I just with you one more time. When you discovered the body of Juan Kurita, you were in great shock. That's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Mine was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. Ooh, what are you saying, huh? That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. Press further. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Ooh, okay. Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? Yeah. Uh-huh. That means you also had to have opened the case, the guitar case, though. Because there was only water on top.
which means she's lying, probably. This mess of glass shards was originally on top of the dressers. But when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Why? Why did you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry, I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was another part of the mess. It's like, another fact has come to light. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal in your testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. I was the one who knocked over the flower vase where it fell on the guitar case. Hold it! It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. Thought I would try to take Juan's pulse, so I set the glass. Oh, that's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality. Really, it should not. The only way to make her is to keep on the offensive and not let up. And it's fine. Yep. That's just a generic. Got to the end of it. Present the guitar case. Only the top of the lid. Objection! You testified that you knocked over the flower vase over. Is that correct? Yes. Are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is that some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testify that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, that was true. The case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. That's very true. Furthermore, there is one strange thing about this guitar case. What is it? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. Huh. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. What's wrong with that? None of them are in the guitar case. If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shards should be inside, not outside the case. Psh. Objection! What is your point, right? That the case was closed and the time of the vase was knocked over. Is that all? No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Ugh. That's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case. But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The red guitar was found at the studio. There's no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be, however. No relation to this case, doesn't it? No deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Red, do you think we need to hear more details about the car? Make her testify. Believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. Heh. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. Can't believe I'm doing this either. Heh. Need to get. Huh. All right, I'll follow along for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. The guitar case. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked over. That's the lie. After I knocked over the vase. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. Looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll go ahead and start my cross-examination. using any way to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man. Guitar case. I mean, literally opening second sentence, okay. During your testimony, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? You see. Sure about you are the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer. Taking over, okay. Well, Miss Andrews, yes, it was me. Suppose I must have opened it. You opened the guitar case then? Yes, well maybe. Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Miss Corita's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I wouldn't think that the first thing you would do is I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case, or pour a glass of fucking juice. As a witness has stated multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was just curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. But maybe the criminal took it. But getting back on top, it's not a big deal. It's a huge deal. I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention. Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. Like pressing people, okay? Leave me alone. Although I know it would take half the time. Is that because you were shocked and dazed as you discovered the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. Not going again, or it's with evidence. Yes, we need evidence. Which we most certainly have. Which is this? Bears Corita's fingerprints. You're lying. There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. Ah. What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left fingerprints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time? It was the night of the awards ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now that I remember, I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime. That's strange. Not a little strange? Why is that strange? You have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? Why, yes I do. Yes I do. I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange? That you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Her glasses! Bro, there's no way you shatter her glasses and then she just re-equips them, bro. Oh my god. That's a great animation, though. Order, order. It's like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. It's just an empty case. Wonder if it really was empty, though. But the guitar, the bright red guitar, was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. What would be in the guitar case? That is true. That's a good point. Not the knife. What would it be? What would it be? I don't know. This bright white guitar? Wait, that's not ready. It would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case. Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's unusual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided. No, Your Honor. Please recall that Miss Andrews has testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. Yep. However, it's wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I'm sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you are so sure, right, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please enlighten us to why that guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case. Not being the only thing. You don't mean... I didn't read that. The case was not empty. Is that it, Mr. Wright? I wouldn't say something if I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside the case at the time of the murder? Ooh, I don't know. Time of the murder. Ooh, Scarf. Maybe? Oh. Fuck. Why don't you put that in the void where your brain is supposed to be? Never bring it out again. Can a foolishly foolish fool get some love? Aww. Francisca. Wouldn't say it. You haven't proven anything yet. What was inside the case at the time of the murder? No. No. Unlikely. That wasn't him. Not that. Button? Knife? I guess it's gotta be the knife, right? Although it doesn't really make sense. It could have just been hidden, but she wasn't wearing gloves. I don't know. I'm gonna go with the knife. I don't know if that's right, though. Fuck. I don't know. Was inside the... Maybe. I am. What would be inside the case, though? Uh-huh. None of this makes sense. Hmm. 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 Bad terms. Hot shot. No. I don't know why it'd be anything from here either. Was inside this case at the time of the murder? I have no idea. Like, this could have been anything. This? I don't know. I do not know the answer to this. What would be... Might have been possible. What could be inside the case? I have no idea. Nothing makes sense, though. Maybe her suicide note, but I don't know. Why would something like that be inside the case? I have no idea. I don't know your answer, though. Fuck. I don't know the answer to this. Just tried that. Don't know. We don't know. Yeah, never bring it up. Maybe that, but nothing makes sense. Not what, who? I don't have an answer. Guess we just try everything. I don't know this. Bad turn with Vanguard. I don't know why it'd be a person. I don't think we have an answer. Like what? Try this. No. I'm just gonna try everything, I guess. What was inside the case at the time of the murder? A photograph? What's the point is in that photograph? Posing is the hero's own very own costume. Ah. That's how she snuck out. Okay. That makes sense, I guess.
What?
Mm-hmm. Explain yourself. Right. Are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to be doing something like that? The insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. That makes sense. I didn't know, dude. That is true, though. Like, how did she get out? Okay. You got me on that one. You got me on that one. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity, so she could make her escape. Yep. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct? You mean this photo? Yep. Wandering. It's quite another mess, haven't we? Oh, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. Yep. Real murderer was hiding inside a costume. Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt Engard's. Why would something of the defendant be in the victim's room? And why? And inside the guitar case, of all places. True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was the Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case? It was a spare costume. Engard did not take his costume off during the break. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one. Then, are you saying that the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gateway Water Hotel? Yes, this is what I am saying. And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? I mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose. But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the jamming ninja. And why would he secretly bring this Nickel Samurai's spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind this peculiar act? And therein lies a sticking point. He doesn't... What are you mumbling to yourself now? You've just been rambling all this time without a sense of inner monologue? No, I just... Mr. Wright, please explain further. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai's spare costume? Sure you can explain this one? To the hotel was... The confession. What is this? Night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. A press conference? Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at the conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Engard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. A dot 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 from her is ominous. But how can that be? The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida himself. The victim. Yep. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corrida was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai. He's going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing? Something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at the conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Corrida, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Edgard. Yes, that is what it would mean. But if that's the case, that's not a confession, that's public disclosure. Miss Andrews, see why you are pros at what you do. Pardon me? Well, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan. Oh? Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this. I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me. You. Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. And that's what he thought anyway. He's going to ruin him, huh? Looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. What? Ba-da-ba-da-ba. You know what this secret is. The secret of Mr. Engar is Miss Andrews. That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is. Ah, I see. I probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. But that's to be expected. Been trying to protect Matt after all. Protect Mr. Engard. I think she's dependent on Engard now, though. And yet, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor. I understand. Protecting Matt. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what, and he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. This is a lie. Pure lies. This does account for everything. Well, I am the logical type. Finally see her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit. As a defense, cannot find no fault with this testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep in mind that as you cross-examine Mr. Wright, it's like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. This just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. Protecting Matt. I'm a presser. Say that your intuition speaking? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. 3 things. A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. If you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. Should have already known that, Phoenix. They didn't teach that in in school, at least not from what I remember. I continue now. I had to kill one no matter what. So, would you say this need came from the press conference? Yes. Do you know why Juan chose this event in that hotel for the conference? 'Cause that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Mad Engard. You knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews? Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. I'm sure Mr. Engard himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? Anyway, the important thing here is that this information was not in your testimony. Yes, I agree. Miss Andrews, please correct your testimony, if you please. Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right. Has Mr. Engard done something to hurt or betray you personally? Why do you ask? You were the one who helped Mr. Kurita with this press conference. That event was supposed to bring down Mr. Engard, yet you still helped out. The person on trial right now is Mr. Engard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with this plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? He didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. Didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Engard was taking a nap in his room? Don't know that too was a lie, so you could cover for Mr. Engard? Not telling you anything of the sort. I went to the room to get him for the show. He honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at that time. I keep trying, but I can find no flaws with what Mr. Andrews said. Can't say the same for some people here in this courtroom, however. You're straight at Mia. It's glaring you, smart guy. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. I can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. Fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. During the fight, the killer ripped the button from the jamming ninja's costume. What happened after? The button was found in the police of Matt Hakama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence. Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. Can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness. With an icy stare? Yes, damn! Alright, chill. Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony. That button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. And how do you know that? The ends of the thread on the button and the costume were matched up. They were found to fit together perfectly, or so I heard. Why would Miss Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail? Don't look at me like that just because I'm prepared and you are not. I thought I had her this time. Where and when and where? Felt that I had to protect him. But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time. She reacted to that. She's like, what? I stabbed him in the back? Or like kind of like a little surprise? Anger? Not suggesting it? Question mark, question mark? Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. Engard at any time. Why then? Nope. Same reason why Mr. Korea planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. Engard as much damage as she possibly could. This witness bears ill will towards the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright wax philosophical power hour. And please, stop slandering the witness. Miss Andrews' testimony is... Really? Because to me, it sounded a little wishy-washy. You'll need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. Yep. Almost certain it is this in the crime code. No? What? Oh, fuck. That's insane. What is it then? Ah, fuck. On during his fight with Matt. Feeling that Matt was the murderer. Torn off. Knife had nothing to do with it. Oh, there goes that. Uh-huh. Felt that I had to protect him. Did he fight Juan, though? I don't think he fought Juan. He strangled Juan. That's what I want to say, but I don't know how to say that. Nope. Torn off. Hmm. What's the evidence here? How did they both leave the room? I don't know how to say it again. This is hard. I can't submit the photo. Have an alibi. Of Juan during his fight. Feeling that Matt was a murderer. He didn't have an alibi. The button was torn off of Juan during his fight. Time-wise, or... Oh! Ah! No. I presented this and that didn't do shit. Try the knife again. Oh man, I don't know. Like if you press her, she says it's this piece of information. Why would Miss Andrews know this case knows? Yeah. I thought I had her this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up on, it has to be here. But where? And what? What about the strangulation shit?
Uh,
Didn't I present this? I presented the crime scene photo, not the fucking... My bad. Autopsy report. I mean, I wanted to say strangulation. Cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? Knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. What does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which means that it was ripped off of the costume. When? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means it is impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle. Thank you. Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There's no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim or victim's already dead body. Yep. Order. What is the meaning? Objection. What is the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We know now this button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this off from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does that mean? Does that mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with that button? What was it? To pin the crime on Edgar. There's only one logical reasoning for that. It's to pin the crime on Engard. There's no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right. Mr. Engard was set up. By the real killer, of course. And the real murderer is... Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then? Finally. Can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way to up to this point. Can't let your guard down. The person who planned to frame Mr. Engard is... Adrian Andrews. Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you. You are Mr. Carita's killer. What? Glasses break. Mr. Wright. This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrew. What? How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then. And what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Engard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. The only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Glasses break. Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Engard was the real killer, there's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. Glasses break. The only person who could have put this button in Mr. Engard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the empty guitar case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. costume was used to hide the real killer's identity, and as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was such a costume inside the guitar case? Could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, Oh, she's crying, dude. But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. It was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But a glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glasses so that, yes, indeed, she was a classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. Ah, grass is break. And to top it all off, there is this photo. Photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. Edgard. He's much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time. Miss Andrews? I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. That law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination. By allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves. What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Yesterday in Mr. Edgard's room, Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard of it. What we just discussed, understood? Alright. Oh. Von Karma. That's when Franziska planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things looked bad. Did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. There's still one thing you haven't done. Proven a motive. What's wrong, right? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence? It is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial. Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to prove a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Kurita. Order, order. Miss Andrews, you want to kill Mr. Kurita. I believe this may lead me to incriminate myself, so I will stay from answering. But, Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. Defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do? In the worst possible situation. Adrian Andrews has refused to testify. The defense's theory is that she is the actual murderer. Has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive, but that's not true. In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do. That is to declare a recess. Recess? Was that both prosecution and defense look further into this matter. And at tomorrow's trial. Don't have it tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then hold it. Boom. Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial. Bam. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. Oh. I don't want to get... If I don't get the verdict, then Maya. Oh, he's actually worried about her. Aw. But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is... Objection! He helps us out, bro. It is not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you? It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but actually, there's one little thing that I'm curious about. Miss Andrews, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaking up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want you to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever you find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I keep changing his voice, I'm so sorry. Don't know what it's about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read on him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know. He's a friend. Come on. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. I found the body. That glass of juice. I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And one, he was sitting slumped over and looking tired in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. That glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your testimony? Didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Dude, Edgeworth saves our ass. In the final hour, dude. Didn't really pour it for myself. Was anyone else in the room, right? Of course not. Then who did you pour it for? Mr. Wright, there is rhyme and reason for everything. Can you just wait a little longer for it to be revealed to you? In other words, right? Be quiet and listen. Precisely. Couldn't have said it better myself. It's all in that messy state. It was a mess. Are you sure it wasn't a mess because of your fight with Mr. Farida? Objection! I understand your frustration in not being able to prove your theory, however, before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. Ha ha ha. And then, what did you see next, witness? Juan was sitting, slumped over and tired. Slumped over? Yes, he was just sitting there, his head tilted forward, eyes closed. He really looked like he was sleeping. Right there sounded a little odd. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought of him just... Then, what did cross your mind? Thought maybe he had smashed everything up in anger because he lost the Grand Prix. And then felt tired after his rampage, so he decided to take a nap. Anyways, that's what I thought. Is that at all? Okay. Thought he had just fainted, so I poured him some juice. Thought he fainted. Thought he was asleep at first. But then, the room was in such a messy state. Thought maybe he had gone into a fight with someone. That's when he went to pour the glass of juice. Yes, he was always having a hard time waking up. So one always has a glass of tomato juice to drink. I see. After that, what happened next? I realized that he was dead. That's when I knocked the flower vase over. How did you come to realize that he was in fact dead? Shook him over and over, but I never got a response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backwards. So that's what happened. Letting your guard down. Now's your best chance to kill the prosecution's case. Mr. Was this one? One was sitting slumped over in the corner. Really like he was sleeping. I think the crime... Let me save, because I got one option. This is big. But... Ah, fuck. Okay. That is not what I wanted to do. Yes, yes, yes. Is that... Crime scene photo. Fuck, are you kidding me? Slumped over and tired looking. Huh. This one? No. Slumped over and tired looking in the corner. Huh. Nope. Right, when you press for this, slumped over. Yes, he was just sitting there with his head tilted forward. Like he was sleeping. Sound a little odd. About the knife. What? I don't know, dude. The blood, the knife, the scene of the crime. In the corner. I don't know. Ah, why is this one so weird? I walked into the room and saw it in a messy state. Didn't cross my mind.
Objection!
Okay, I was right. Think he was dead when you found him. No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body. Yeah. That's what I said. Ah. What's the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious here? It's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Kurida's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought here was a dead man, or an injured man. Well, you see. Not a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted. Then, so nonchalantly go pour something to drink? Your point is? Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. Oh! Glasses break. Your lie has proven one thing very clearly. That you are the real killer. No. No. Looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Engard, is not guilty after all. That's impossible. You're wrong. Miss Andrews, try to have some composure. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan. But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because... Give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you? I refuse to testify. She doesn't want to be found out that she tried to commit suicide. And there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Engard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated. I think it is Matt Engard as the true murderer. It's both of them. It's both of them. Now that I think about it, it was the first time someone has it. It's both of them. It was Matt Engard, but she did it. Mr. Matt Engard. Not Edgeworth for the save, Your Honor. The prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time. What? The reason is quite simple. Nah. This witness has yet to speak the absolute, real truth. Objection. The absolute, real truth? What are you? Witness. Don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Engard will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Franziska von Karma. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of others. Because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Right now, Miss Andrews is tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. If you do, Matt Engard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undeniably believes in those words right now and is clinging on to them. What should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. Has to be the killer, right? Do now is get our not guilty. That is my only priority. wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill one. Help. Please, someone, help me. The court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. Think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could be except the woman crying over there, right? Come now. What will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Okay. Almost certain. Not guilty is for my client. Force Angels to testify. I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that, but can't bring myself to do it like this, not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. Engard would get an acquittal, but in his place he would be found guilty. Is this how you really want to end this trial? Be quiet, how dare you? You're trying to trick me. That's enough. Commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth. Yeah, you're wrong. What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this. However, what is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, falls on my shoulders to close this to the court. Stop. Mr. Edgeworth. This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. So stop, please, stop. No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world. Please, please stop, I beg you. If people find out, I'll... You're going to say you would choose death. That is of no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold? However, before you die, I'll pull the truth from your still breathing lips. That is a cold lie. No matter what I have to do. That's Edgeworth. That's his conviction now, dude. He'll pull the truth. The truth. Not guilty. The truth. Edgeworth, my boy. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please, help me. Aww. Nothing matters anymore. My crime. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of inconvenience, and that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume. Stab the body with the knife? But why would you do that? It's obvious to pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. What do you mean by all this? Might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the real truth. The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. Ooh, last time. So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Corrida, in the chest with his knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt Edgard for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How is it possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Nope. Mr. Wright, please get over here. Your shock and commence the cross-examination. My crime. Huh. I really thought he had feet. But you could tell from the state of the room was in, must have been a fight. You're telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead. He had a scarf tied around his neck. That scarf is part of the German ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it. It was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought, wake him up. I realized he was dead. What, is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because one, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him. That's when I thought, we should forge some evidence of this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. First thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. So I made sure there was no one in the hallway, and I dashed back to. So you get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. If I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. And then I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife. So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then, when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used a button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect. So you thought to rip one off and plant it on Mr. Engard's Hakama. Yes, that's why I had planned it. But things never go that smoothly, do they? I had a bit of an inconvenience. An inconvenience. There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. I bet that my spikes, it was a lot of his spikes. He's been in his spikes, bro. Alright. There's also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldbag for you. I'd already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. That's why I ended up using the Nicholson costume. You're the one who prepared the costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from the Global Studios. I also put in Juan's guitar case a day before the award ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yep. Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold the press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there. What is this secret? I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we've heard enough. So, after that, you went back to Mr. Engar's room and planted the button to Matt's Hakama. Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. My word. What does this all mean? Sir Edgeworth, was it? The real criminal is Matt Engard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk.
Franziska, huh?
She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words.
Hmm. He's 0 for 3 now. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. Wait, Your Honor?
That's
Right.
It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything.
Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. Cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. We can establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor.
The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately.
That is all. Court is adjourned for today.
Ah. Ha 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 ha. He left. Maya. No, Maya. She escaped. Come on. Today's trial. It's over. And I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I ask you something? Edgeworth? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Ah, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remembered just now. I found this in the room on that day.
The room.
De Killer.
That day.
Yes.
Is his symbol.
I found this card when I had discovered Juan's body. It was lying there right next to him. Found that card next to the victim's body. Suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. It's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right?
Yeah, I guess not, but it's still a strange card. Ah, it might. It might.
If you ask me. As far as a clue to this case, I don't see it. Hold it! Witness! That card! Give it to me! Hurry! Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? This. I can't believe you hid this from me all this time. I didn't mean to.
What's this all about? Never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. We have a murderer. A serial murderer. Or a phantom murder? We'll find out. What in the world is it? What does it mean?
To be continued. Okay. What happened with Maya, though? Hmm?
Oh. Oh.
Late at evening. Mystic Maya! Wah! There, Pearls. I can't take it anymore. Wow!
Look, it'll be alright.
Everything may still work out. Mm-hmm. The condition was that we had to get a not guilty verdict. And so far, the kidnapper has kept his word and hasn't hurt Maya. And he won't, because Mr. Engard hasn't been given a guilty sentence yet. Yeah, cheer up. We don't have time to stand around crying. We have to get going. You're right. Mystic Maya is much more pain than I am. That's right. Hey, guys. Glad I caught you, pal. Mr. Scruffy Detective. Oh boy, looks like Detective Gumshoe. It's been dubbed Mr. Scruffy Detective in Pearl's book. It's plain old Mr. Dick Gumshoe now. And I came to talk to you, pal. Kind of busy right now.
Alright.
We are going to end it here. Okay. Edgeworth is a good dude. Oh, man. Edgeworth is in, for that case specifically, Edgeworth is what we were the whole first game, basically, going for the truth. The absolute truth. It doesn't matter what the witness or who's guilty and not. It just has to be the truth. And Edgeworth is going for the truth. And it's not Matt Engard either. Matt Engard didn't kill anybody, but he may have hired somebody to assassinate somebody. That is very strange. Like I said at the beginning of stream, I think, how he worded it, that he didn't kill anybody. But he didn't say anybody else could have killed him. He's not the, like, official murderer, but he instigated the murder, basically. And, therefore, we do need to find D Killer and Maya, which will have the help of Edgeworth, I think. But that is going to have to be for next time. Thank you for stopping by and watching this. If you watched it, hope you enjoyed. Streaming pretty much Monday through Thursday. Actually, tomorrow I will probably not be able to stream. I have some stuff to take care of and prepare, so I will not be streaming tomorrow, but going for Monday through Thursday usually, and a weekend stream here and